Hi, Brooke here from PEHP. Now you know how to access your city benefits. You're probably like most people and really excited about the medical benefits. Here's what I hope you walk away with after this video. But know that our team fully expects you to have questions about your specific situation. Good news is your options are pretty simple. The city only has one plan. The city's plan with PEHP is called Summit Star HDHP. Let's start by talking about the plan premiums. The city pays 95% of the premium, and you only pay 5%. Now let's talk about the deductible. The HDHP in your plan name means High Deductible Health Plan. It's not an extremely high deductible, $1,500 single and $3,000 for double and family coverage. To help offset this high deductible, the city contributes half of the deductible, $750 for single and $1,500 for double or family, into a medical savings account. This is prorated for new hires based on how many pay periods are left in the plan year. You'll learn about the options of how you can use those city-provided funds in the HSA FSA video. Before we continue talking about overall costs, let's take a quick break to talk about who's covered and counts towards deductible. Children can remain on the plan until their 26th birthday, when they're automatically removed at the end of their birthday month. It doesn't matter if they're a student, married, living at home, they can stay on until they're 26 years old. For those with children who have double coverage, meaning both you and the other parent have coverage, PEHP follows the birthday rule to determine whose plan is primary coverage. The parent with the birthday in February would be primary, and the parent with the birthday in June would be secondary coverage. That's unless there's legal documentation saying otherwise. Now I've cleared up who's covered and whose expenses count towards deductible, let's get back to your overall costs under the medical plan. Remember, the deductible is $1,500 for single or $3,000 for double and family coverage. You only have to meet one deductible for both in-network and out-of-network expenses. Also, the family deductible includes expenses for anyone on the plan, so one person can technically meet the entire family deductible. Your deductible must be met before there will be cost sharing, except for preventive care. Things like annual physicals, flu shots, eye exams, or colonoscopies for people over 50 are covered at 100%. There's a long list on PEHP's website of preventive care that is covered at 100%. The doctor still needs to be in-network though. If you go out of network, preventive care is not covered at 100%. About half of city employees meet the deductible each year and half do not. There's about a 50% chance you'll not meet the deductible. Some people know they'll go over because of known medical issues. Let's pretend you were planning on very little health spend in the year, but a loved one had a major accident. Boom! In one event, you could easily meet deductible and then some. That's when PEHP coinsurance kicks in. The coinsurance level is 90%, meaning PEHP pays 90% of the claim and you pay 10%. For example, if your bill for a broken leg costs $5,000 and you've met the deductible, PEHP would pay $4,500 and you would pay $500. That's a good level considering most insurances are at an 80-20. Using the same broken leg bill, let's pretend the plan year just started and reset your deductible, and you're on a family plan. You'd pay $3,000 up front to meet your deductible, then coinsurance kicks in with $2,000 left to pay. PEHP would pay $1,800 and you would pay the remaining $200. Ultimately, you would spend $3,200 and coinsurance would kick in for all future expenses up to the out-of-pocket maximum. This example was all in network. If you go out of network, PEHP is only going to pay 70%. So if you'd start with the new deductible and went out of network, the same bill would cost you $3,600 instead of $3,200. Some services require copays in or out of network, and you can find that information on PEHP's website. Now's a good time for another detour to talk about something specific to out of network. Beware of balance billing. Let me explain what that means. In-network providers agree to PEHP's contracted rates, while out-of-network providers can essentially charge what they want. Let's pretend the real billed amount for your broken leg was actually $8,500. The in-network provider's contracted amount is $5,000. And they would have to write off the other $3,500 because $5,000 was the PEHP contracted rate. That balance of what the doctor wanted to charge and what PEHP will actually cover is the balance bill. In-network doctors write it off, but the balance bill of $3,500 would be 100% your responsibility to pay if the care was out of network. Even worse, any balance billing that you're responsible to pay for does not count towards your deductible, coinsurance, or out-of-pocket maximum. Please do what you can to stay in network so you can avoid balance billing. It can cause serious financial difficulties for you depending on the severity of the healthcare event. You'll learn how to stay in network and reduce costs overall in the Reducing Medical Costs video. Life-threatening events are the only exception to balance billing. If something unexpected happens, like waking up suddenly in an out-of-network hospital after collapsing at CrossFit, PEHP has contracts with all hospitals to not balance bill you or dependents who are in life-threatening situations. A lot to consider so far. We're almost at the end of the answer of what you could possibly spend in a year. We call it out-of-pocket maximum. Only 2 to 3% of the city's population hits the out-of-pocket maximum. Whatever medical bills you have in the plan year, someone on a single plan would never spend more than $4,000 out of their own pocket. Keeping in mind this includes the deductible. Double and family would only pay $8,000 out of their own pocket on medical expenses. That's why the city helps you cover some of the deductible. Here you see 3 levels of responsibility: in-network and out-of-network. PEHP and the city work hard to make sure you have the coverage you need, but it's also up to you to reduce costs. Last but not least, all pharmacies are contracted with PEHP, and all pharmacy expenses apply to your deductible. That also means that you can use your HSA or FSA to pay for them. The tricky part is you have to pay the full cost of the medication. There is no cost sharing for your prescription medications until you hit the deductible. So, if you have a medication that's $100 a month, you'll have to pay the full $100 a month until your deductible is met, or the pharmacist isn't going to give you the medication. Once you meet the deductible, cost share applies like any other medical expense. Cost sharing for prescriptions after deductible has 3 tiers. Tier 1 is a $10 copay, Tier 2 is 25%, and Tier 3 is 50% cost share. The type of medication you need determines the cost sharing. Coming in on a new plan, it's a good idea to check on your current medications to see what levels of coverage you can expect. One exception to meeting your deductible would be preventive medications like medications for diabetes, respiratory, and cardiovascular disease. Regular cost sharing for these medications would apply. It's essentially waiving the deductible for these medications. There is a full list of expanded preventive medications on the PEHP website. And remember, we'll talk about ways PEHP encourages you to save on prescriptions and other medical costs in the Reducing Medical Costs video. I hope you got the information you need and can now listen to find the cost to you for coverage, including premium, deductible, coinsurance, and out-of-pocket maximum. Describe why balance billing is such a problem and how to avoid it. And finally, explain how prescriptions factor into the medical plan. We'll have a representative at Salt Lake City Orientation to help you with any specific questions you have about your medical benefits. Thank you for choosing to work here, and keep Salt Lake City a great place to live.